Welcome to the Giving a Purpose podcast. We talk, you listen. Streaming to the world and beyond, we will talk about all aspects of life. We will host a variety of guests, where each week we will educate, motivate, encourage, and inspire you. Let's get started with your host, Mr. L.A.
Welcome to the Giving a Purpose podcast, where we bridge the highs, the lows, the lessons learned through life's journey, and filling in the gap. Listen, you already know what it is, man. It's a new week. So we already know that's new goals, new opportunities. I need you to get your momentum up. Listen, I know we always think Mondays are the worst days, but that's the day you want to catch that momentum. You want to catch that wave, and you want to make the most out of your week. I promise you, if you come in there with that good energy on Monday, it's going to carry you through the rest of the week. I promise you on that. Listen, I know y'all say it all the time. Y'all say, Mr. LA, you always say you got a special guest. All right, but today I really, really do. Not only is he a special guest, he's actually family. And we're going to get into all of that today. So, man, I want you guys to make sure you guys welcome my cousin, Cortni Grange. Now we're gonna get into this whole thing. I know y'all looking, trying to figure out what's going on. We're gonna get in that. So Court, man, let them know who you are, man, and let them know what you're doing, man.
Oh man, peace and love, cuz. It is good to be here. I am, as he said, Cortni Grange. I'm the founder of the Zen Cave, which is a wellness platform that focuses on energy management, as well as helping people balance their masculine and feminine energy. I was born in Boston, raised in DC, second generation Jamaican, proud graduate of the illustrious Florida Agricultural Mechanical University School of Business and Industry. I've got a diverse professional background in everything from entrepreneurship to sales to nonprofit leadership to curriculum development, and of course wellness, right? Outside of the work, pretty much you can find me advocating for all things Black, all things wellness, and all things self-mastery. I'm one of those people who believes that you are 100% accountable for your universe. And the more that I have learned to accept that, the more that my universe has responded to me with abundance. Man. I'm the father of a 5-year-old who often feels like he's going on 50. Man. The eldest of 29 cousins on my mom's side, and quite innumerable on my dad's side, because I obviously find more cousins than I actually know I have sometimes.
Facts.
But that's me, bro. That's me in a nutshell.
Man,
bro.
That's crazy. On my dad's side, I'm actually the eldest cousin. I mean, it's not 29 of us, but I'm actually the eldest cousin.
Meet you the eldest.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. So my dad actually has...
It's a weird space to be in.
Huh? Say that again?
It's a weird space to be in as the eldest, because depending upon like how old your youngest aunt or uncle is, and then how old your second eldest cousin is, like it determines a lot about you, right? Yeah. So like my youngest uncle is 37. He's 1 year older than me.
Okay. But
my eldest cousin to me just turned 30, and I'm 36. So I'm in this weird spot, like all by myself.
Gotcha. Yeah, my dad actually has the oldest and the youngest grandchild. So my little brother and I are 18 years apart. So that's wild. Yeah. So I'm the oldest. Yeah. And like I said, my brother is the youngest. He's currently a senior at UCF, doing his thing, man. So yeah. So you probably don't know this part as much. And like I said, we're going to get into this whole family thing. I actually, for the most part, didn't grow up with the LaGrange side. My dad did his thing. It's nothing too crazy. I don't want anybody to think anything like that, but I didn't actually grow up with that side. Like me actually getting integrated with my dad's side of the family, I was a junior in high school. So a lot of the things that we discuss, like I had to learn. I'm like, oh, for real? You know what I'm saying? Like getting to know the family. So what kind of happened, just to kind of share the story with you, my cousin Aaron, our cousin Aaron, end up coming to Carroll with me. So he was a year behind me. Okay. And so once he started coming to Carroll, we started I started spending the night over at his house and just different things like that, getting to know my aunts and stuff like that. And then my aunt one day was like, listen, we about to go down to Florida. So you can, we're going to get this connection going. I was like, cool, let's do it. Mm-hmm. So that kind of, that kind of happened. Like, listen, it made me change a whole bunch of things that I was doing. Cause I was actually going to Delaware State. I was going to Delaware State. I was going to play football. But because I had just, got connected with my dad's side of the family, I was like, man, let me try school. Well, let me try FAMU. Mm-hmm. So that's how I ended up doing that. So literally the crazy thing about it is, like I said, I stopped playing. I was going there. I was going to play football at Delaware State, but I ended up trying out for the baseball team at FAM. So like all kind of stuff like that. So so a lot of the stuff that, like I said, I was sharing with you that we've been sharing back and forth, it was like new to me. So it's just, it's just interesting because for us, like I talked to you before, just to let people know, like my grandfather is I guess he would be technically the second generation of LaGranges because for those that don't know, to kind of give people a background, as you can see, as my cousin, his last name is Grange.
Grange and LaGrange.
Yes. When my great grandfather came to America from Cuba, he was a pastor. He changed the last name to LaGrange. So of course he changed his name to LaGrange. So his kids, my grandfather, they were kind of like that first generation. And then my father, they're the second LaGrange, second generation of LaGranges. And of course we're the third. So of that, but then, us getting to just know things, come to find out. So the craziest thing happened. So actually, as you can see, if y'all not blind, we both went to FAMU. And the crazy thing is we were at FAMU the whole time and we didn't even know we were
at the same time
and not even know they were family. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like
and we from the same area in terms of like where we grew up in the same area.
Crazy enough, yes. So it's even crazier. Yes. But kind of to give you guys some background of how everything connected. A cousin of ours, I got to remember to say that, a cousin of ours, when I was living in Florida, I was working at a gym. This is when I was a personal trainer full time. So I was working at a gym. Young lady, two young ladies come in. One lady comes in, she's a member of the gym, but then the other young lady is a visitor. So she had to fill out a form, a liability form. And so I'm like looking at the form and I'm like, Grange. I said, where you from? And she was like, Jamaica. I was like, really? I said, the craziest thing, just like the story I just explained, I said, the craziest thing, like my great grandfather changed our name to LaGrange. It used to be Grange when he lived in Jamaica. She was like, really? I said, are you coming here tomorrow? She was like, yeah. I said, I got a book that I want you to look at and we just going to figure out to see if this is a coincidence or what's good. So our cousin, Gleneve, she came back to the gym the next day. I showed her the book. She's looking. She was like, she found Babsy's name. She's like, that's my aunt. I was like, see, this is
Babsy Grange.
Yeah, this is just too crazy of a coincidence. So it's just like, okay, we about to kind of link things up and try to figure out things. So once she showed, she came over, looked at everything, then that's when everything opened up. It was like, all right, so it's this whole thing of Granges. I'm talking about in probably like 3 days, I had so many friend requests on Facebook. And then we get to the thing. It was like, you know what I'm saying? We have a mutual friend. I was talking to Danzel. You know what I'm saying? He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, yep.
And Danz was like, yeah, man, Cortni went to, I was like, this whole time I was at FAMU with a whole family member and we didn't even know it. He was like, yeah, man. I'm like, this is like the wildest thing.
But
go ahead.
What's funny with that is like we have a lot of stories like that in our family. Mostly because this name is so unique. Well, it's so specific, right? Like Grange is not like Williams or Johnson or Douglas even. It's very specific. And so there's a lot of stories. I found out I had a second eldest uncle, right? Through a very similar story where two Granges were both in the Navy, right? And in the military, they call you by your last name. Somebody called Grange, both of them came up, and it was just like, hold up, like, who are you? Found out they got the same dad.
Wow. Right? wait. So, back up. They found out they had the same dad.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So my original, I don't even know who's older, to be honest with you. I think they're the same age, to be honest with you. So my eldest uncle was in the Navy. And then a Grange was called up. He went up, and they're like, nah, we're not calling you, because his name is Alton, Alton. They were calling Alden, Alden. So now you see it's even wilder because their names are so close.
Wow.
But yeah, man, they're the same age. And he lives in Delaware. Alden Grange lives in Delaware. Surprisingly enough, right? You almost ended up in Del State. Like, he lives in Delaware. And like, he was largely disconnected from the Grange side because of, from his own story. And so when he found us, floodgates, you know what I'm saying? Got connected, got involved. Let me go meet this person. Let me do this. So it's always very intriguing to me that our name comes with so much. Yeah. And there's like certain ones of us that take on the responsibility of like going to find out what's going on out here. Right. Like, I want to go meet my family. I want to know about my name more deeply. So I guess it's just in our blood.
And like I said, for me, just this, like I said, with the discovery of just my father's side in general, and then coming to learn this part, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's even, just like you were just saying, it gets to that point where you're just really trying to figure out everything and connect the dots. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I mean, of course, there's something special about us, but you know what I'm saying? You just have that feeling. It's like something special about us. There's something there that we're trying to figure out. And actually, what's it been, a couple of weeks now? A couple of weeks, I actually got the chance to meet your father. And, we were trying to still figure out so many things. And, when he got on the phone, he started, connecting some dots. And it's just like, do you remember such and such that live here? Oh man, you know what I'm saying? And but I wish I might do it for you guys that's watching on YouTube. Listen, I gotta post some pictures. It's crazy. Light skin, bald head is just, I don't know what it is. It's just like,
it's in our family.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
It's the bald head. It's the broad nose. It's the round face. And it's crazy. So last weekend I was in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, man, I wish y'all would have told me about that.
We have family in Fort Lauderdale. It kind of just randomly happened. So I was there to go for business, but obviously I'm a Czech fan while we down there. Yeah. My dad's on his way back to Jamaica, so he drives down to Fort Lauderdale. So it's me, my dad, our cousin Kenrick, right, who lives in Fort Lauderdale, our other cousin Donovan, who's Kenrick's brother, who lives in Fort Lauderdale, and then their older brother Joe, who lives up in Long Island, and just happened to be down there that weekend. Wow. So we, of course, like, I'm going to dinner with Kenrick and Donovan, but Kenrick's going to he's going to bring Joe, because why would you not? That's your older brother, and we all here. Joe happens to bring his youngest son. Guess what his youngest son's name is?
What?
Cortni Grange.
Wow.
Cortni Grange. It's like, come on, bro. Like, we gonna keep doing this,
man. And it's crazy. It's like I said, I lived in South Florida for 7 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and because my dad is down there. Yeah. And my uncle, he's a doctor down there. So it's just like, man, we're so close, and it's just like so close. It's crazy. But I want to get into something funny real quick. I didn't mean to cut you off. So even though, like I said, we are connecting and figuring out things. It's so crazy that except my great cousin here, Cortni, everybody pledged the same fraternity.
Except me.
Except Cortni. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's really like the craziest thing how we're family, but we weren't even, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have like-minded things and not even knowing each other. You know what I'm saying? I even had an opportunity when I went over to your house to share with your dad and you a picture that is so crazy. Like I said, my great grandfather was a pastor, and he was a pastor in the Methodist church. And to come to find out that the bishop that was over him was a founder of my great fraternity. And we have a picture of them right beside each other.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just like it's just crazy how the history of just like certain things, and like I said, even to the point where I guess she would be my great grandmother and he would be my great uncle, but on my great grandmother's side, which is not a Grange, it was the McKinney side. He was one of the first. He was pledged by the founder, so it's just like it's just so deep, and it's just funny that we come to the States because I have at least 3 cousins that are Omegas as well. So it's just it's crazy, but like I said, we do these things that are similar as a family. Like I said, I almost went to Delaware State. We have family in Delaware. You know what I'm saying? We ended up at FAMU together, and you know what I'm saying? It's just amazing,
man. And it's beautiful, dude.
And go ahead.
Do you know the story of the 2 Grange brothers who came here from Scotland?
No. Please share.
So, I got that one last weekend when we was eating.
Okay.
Right? We're eating dinner, and Joe, you know what I'm saying? This is the first time that like all of us have been in the same room together in probably 20 years, which is wild.
Wow.
Because my grandfather, right, his brother is their father. So we're like cousins.
Gotcha.
Right? My father pledged. Their eldest brother pledged. My father, and they was like road dogs because they both pledged up north. So they was, you know what I'm saying, getting into it. And there's just like, these are from my side, you know, because you got like the LaGrange men. These are my Grange men, right?
Gotcha.
The cousins, the second cousins, the women that are cousins and things like that. But these are the men. And Joe just happens to say, you know, for whatever reason, he was getting the windows in his house done in Long Island.
Okay.
Buddy comes to do it, looks at the chart, and he sees the name Grange. And he's like, you know, you're people from Scotland? And it's a white guy. And so, of course, my cousin's like, why? Right? Why are you asking me? This man's last name is Grange.
Oh, man.
Exactly. And so now they get to talking, and they realize, like, not only do we share the same entry point, because Joe knows the story of the 2 Grange brothers who came over from Scotland.
Wow.
They came from Scotland, they went to Jamaica. One stayed in Jamaica, and I think one went to like Canada or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Right? So the one that stayed in Jamaica, that's where our line starts. He stayed there and, you know, he did his thing. So the guy, the window guy, whose last name is Grange, is confirming this story because the Canada one, that's where his line starts.
Wow.
It was crazy. And, you know, we're saying it over dinner, and I think it landed, but it didn't. For me, it landed with a lot of gravity. Like, I have done a lot of research on my mother's side. So I know back to the first person, go upstairs and get into bed. I love you, but get into bed. I know on my mother's side, the first recorded person that we can track, right?
Okay.
This person was in servitude, was enslaved. And so we know where that name comes from on that side. And then all of us that come from that side. But on my father's side, I never really knew like where this name came from. And I knew it had something to do with farming. I knew it was Scottish. I knew these things, but I didn't know where it came from. And just like that, it's like, boom, final piece of the initial piece of the puzzle. Like, this is where it started. And so all the work you've done and your family has done from the LaGrange side to like really capture the history of our family lineage. It's crazy that we meet in these really strange ways, and we kind of all have a different piece to the puzzle to bring together, and it just keeps getting broader and cooler and more intriguing every time.
It does. So it's crazy. So there was the time we spent a couple weeks ago, I shared a document, and just to go to your point to what you said, I'm going to read a little insert from it. It says, my grandfather, my great grandfather, I'm sorry, he was born to Jonathan Grange. And Georgina Thomas Grange, both whom were born in Jamaica, but it was reported that Scottish names of the places in Jamaica are common, as are Scottish surnames for Black Jamaicans. So, and it's interesting to note that there is a place named Elgin in North Scotland, which is where the preachers were reported to have come from. So it appears that a Scottish immigrant did fact come from Elgin, Scotland, and established the Jamaican district bearing the same name.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? Ooh. Like,
so we preachers, farmers, and frats. Like, that's what we do.
But the crazy thing about it is, like I said, of course, learning my dad's side, and people always ask, like, why is your hair like red and why is it like blonde? And listen,
yes, yep.
That's where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what it is. When I was born, my hair was reddish blonde.
My mom,
it darkened over time, but like we had these same things. Yeah, my
mom would always say, she said, I would pray, just I hope my baby's hair not red. She lost that bet because definitely was red. My dad's hair, my dad's hair was red when he was in high school, just like this reddish brown. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? It's funny because I tell people I was like, listen, that Grange gene, like my brother and I are literally 18 years apart, and we're two different versions of my dad. Like it's the craziest thing.
Yep, that's it.
And I just saw a baby picture.
Man,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just looking at my mom's been cleaning up, and she showed me a baby picture. I wish I can't find the one of my grandfather, but it's literally like almost identical, looking like I really look like my grandfather. And it's just like,
that's wild,
man. You know what I'm saying? It's the craziest thing. Yeah. Like these are some strong genes. It is. And I don't know who those Grange people that came from Scotland, but what y'all started is crazy.
You know, I got a feeling we're gonna find them. Like we continuously just get put into that space, and if we don't find them, likely the next generation will find them, because now that we've pieced these pieces together, there's just the next steps, and it keeps going. For me, that's always been a really important thing, because ancestry, lineage, honoring and understanding who and what I come from, for me is of utmost importance. And so I pass that down to my son, all that I've received, right? So like the book that y'all have, that for me is that stuff like that's important, because when you talk about generational wealth, when you talk about the ability to understand your point, your position in this world, a lot of it is based on your lineage. It's based on who and what you come from. And if you don't know that, it makes it very challenging for you to find a footing. You have to constantly try to create it.
Facts.
And so we are of a very, very fortunate order that, we have Jamaican ancestry, we have Jamaican heritage, but we are largely African American, right? But we got our lineage. We know it. And our name is so specific, it's almost impossible, right? Like if we went to Scotland and we rode up on some Granges, they probably look like us with a different skin complexion. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And they would probably know the story of the two brothers that went to Jamaica, and so it would be like, this makes sense, right? Like it's very specific for us, and I don't take that lightly. I don't, because a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the I share in that, the emotional part, like information that I receive, like it hits me different. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? Because of me not necessarily growing up with my father, it's always wondering, like, why do I do this? And why do I look like this? And you know what I'm saying? But, tracing those things, it's always an interest to me. And, especially going back to like, just the pieces that I do have. Like when we do get a chance, of course, we can travel now, but you know what I'm saying? Having that time to go back to Jamaica, like I do want to spend like a couple weeks there and kind of go to some places and
listen, come through. First of all, my pops lives there.
Yes.
So it's nothing for us to go there, but the area which we live in, it's 3 towns, right? It's Linstead, Yurton, and Bogwalk, right? And they're very small farming towns. So it's not like you're going to have a lot of people there, which means you don't have a lot of last names. Like we are known in that town because we have farms and we have real estate. We have land. till this day. Like that's what my father oversees. You know what I'm saying? And so I can tell you from our side of the fence, like it's always been a challenge because, you know, my father is one of six.
Okay.
He's the only one that goes back to Jamaica. He's the only one that takes care of that farm.
Wow.
My grandfather was the one who put the farm together. And so, like, as he moves up into, you know, his senior years of life, that burden on my shoulders has been real heavy. Like, yo, so I'm supposed to do this all by myself. Because the family there, they do their own thing. But the line, you see what I'm saying? Like I talked about the men, like that line goes through us. And so the people that are there are cousins, like LaGrange is there. She's heavily involved in the country, but she's not over the land. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Her father's brother is my grandfather. That's who ran the land.
Gotcha.
And so now when it comes to the legacy, like we really got to start going back because this is our inheritance. This is what we got.
Definitely.
And so we could keep scraping here, you know what I'm saying? Doing this, doing that. Or we can bring it together and do it all.
You know what's interesting about that, Court, is, and not necessarily specific in a church per se, but I always thought for some reason, like, you know, I've always went to a school that had to do with a church or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And on my mom's side, I would stay with I was real close to my grandmother. And, you know, she was heavily in the church. And it was just like, man, I used to have these dreams about, like, preaching sometimes, not necessarily pulpit preaching, but just that connection and that lineage that you're talking about, because not only was my great-grandfather a pastor, his father was a pastor as well.
His father was a pastor,
you know what I'm saying?
too.
But it was just that thing like, man. Yeah. So that's one of the points of me having like a platform like this. No, I'm not necessarily Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and you on here, but you know what I'm saying? I do feel like
this is in our DNA.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like this is something that I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to that's supposed to open up some stuff. You know what I'm saying? So definitely when you said that, it really hit.
It is home. We have a very specific, and I think this is why our name is so specific too, and why it's not, you know, it's not a lot of this last name going around, right? Even from a Scottish background perspective, like there's a lot of Scottish names. This is a Scottish name, but it's not a lot of us here. So tracking the lineage, like we find a lot of ministers, a lot of preachers, a lot of people in positions of servant leadership. Like we're always constantly in that position, even down to the professions we choose. Cause like my father worked for Department of Children and Family Services for 35 years. And the majority of his work was the liaison between the more rougher communities and the Department of Children and Family Services. Like he was the servant leader between these two spaces, right? Like I don't take it lightly. I never take anything lightly. Even to the fact my grandfather, my mother's father, is a bishop.
Wow.
Like an ordained bishop. Him and my grandmother have had a church together in Massachusetts for over 50 years.
Wow.
Like this thing is way deeper than just our, you know what I'm saying? And we understand it to be. And the name really does like hold it all together. I feel like if we keep following the name, we will be in the name of what we're ever supposed to be doing here, man. But it's working.
Yeah.
It's definitely working.
It is. And it's like I said, it's bringing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say closure, but it brings a full, it's filling some
full
voids.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like even like I said, the last time we linked up at your house, and just you know what I'm saying, just hearing stories and just seeing your dad just being able to call on the phone and say, is this such and such and this such and such? Because you know what I'm saying, we're still trying to find a link. We're understanding that whoever this Grange man was or whoever they were, they had some kids. Okay,
whoever they were, right?
They had a whole bunch of kids because we're still trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying? Because the three places that you name, my great grandfather, it's Clarendon is the place of origin that they have.
Clarendon,
yes,
Clarendon,
yes.
Clarendon, Jamaica, which comes in from a perspective. So like the Jamaica's broken up into parishes, right? St. Catherine's Parish is where Yurton, Linston, and Bogwalk is.
Okay.
I literally have a Jamaican map in front of me. Let me see if Clarendon is in Linstead. I mean, is in St. Catherine's Parish. It would make sense.
Let me look at this. What's the name? It was something in this document as well.
Spanish Town.
Yeah, it's definitely Spanish
Town. You probably find it faster
Town.
than I do looking at this map. If it's Spanish Town, then that's St. Catherine Parish.
Yeah, it's definitely Spanish Town.
All of that is St. Catherine's Parish. Then that's Clareton. I'm almost positive Clareton, Jamaica is in St. Catherine Parish.
I'm almost this document is like hundreds of pages. So
America.
I don't want to look.
Oh, Clarendon is its own parish. Okay. But yeah, it's bordered by Manchester on the west and St. Catherine on the east.
Okay.
So Clarendon is like the parish right over from St. Catherine.
Gotcha.
So it makes, yes, that lines up too. We in the same area. It ain't like, it's the other side of the island. Like we all in the same spot.
Yeah. So whoever these Grange men were out just covering all the parishes, I guess.
They were very wealthy when it comes to the lineage perspective.
Yes. But like, seeing the pictures that your dad posts and everything like that, like seeing, like, I don't know, like that's a joy to me to see farming and you know what I'm saying, just different stuff like that.
I love it.
Like, cause I feel like, I have a huge family on my mom's side, but it's, you know what I'm saying, it's not that like stories go but so far.
It's different.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff was different. Of course, stuff was stolen. Like, yes, crazy enough, my grandfather, my dad's mom, their parents, they had a farm as well in Mississippi, as well.
Wow.
So, but you know what I'm saying? But it like stuff before them, it just stops. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, man, just to have stuff that's just like passed down or just stuff, like you said, that's in line of certain things is just, I don't know. It's just, like I said, it hits different, discovering things like this.
It does.
And the fact that, you know what I'm saying, we link the pieces and then it's like, oh, okay, well, let's go back to Jamaica and figure out some other things and just, seeing stuff like Babsy, in the position that she's in. And it's just like, man, we do some amazing things. And even G, meeting her, like when I was meeting her for the first time, she was like, yeah, I'm doing the college thing and I'm getting ready for the Olympics. We like, oh shit, we got a cousin getting ready for the Olympics. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm all
not just getting ready. Like she was the number one Olympic athlete to come out of Jamaica during her time. Like she holds records till this day in the country. Like she wasn't you know what I'm saying?
She
like
holds some at FSU across the tracks from the greatest school. But
there you go. There it is.
You know what I'm saying? Because we sit on the highest of Seven Hills, just in case y'all know.
Right. That other little small school in Tallahassee.
The other small school. You know what I'm saying? Closer to TCC. Them. Anyway. But I mean, like I said, man, it's just an awesome thing. And you know what just hit me? One day y'all gonna see a part 2 to this, because like I said, I'm gonna hit Jamaica and we all gonna go and we're gonna figure out some more things to kind of put it all together.
Well, don't mess around and let us get Duckworth on the podcast. That'll be a change. I've told him for so long. I'm like, Pop, I just want to follow you around with a camera and just because
I'm with that, man. I'm with that.
It's live, man, and it's not anything complex or anything grandiose. Like he's not a flashy person by any means, but I will say, at least from what we've all experienced and learned, like I believe that my father truly embodies a lot of the fundamentals of this name. Like he takes it very, very seriously. You know what I'm saying? And we've all done our pieces to the puzzle in that, but from the most core element of where we come from, Jamaica, he the only one that's made the trip back. We got a lot of people that's still there, right, and do their thing. But in terms of like who came here and then has gone back to Jamaica, for the most part, you know what I'm saying? He's that one that holds that torch. Bobsy's family came here, Uncle Joe and Auntie Adessa. Those Granges came here. They're in Fort Lauderdale.
Gotcha.
But Bobsy was, I believe, the eldest, and so she was still in Jamaica, right?
Okay.
The ones that were raised here, like really came up here, and they went back to really, just kind of reclaim that. that's where Duckworth sits. And I'm interested to find, like, is anybody from your side that's gone back? Are they still there? Does everybody stay here? Yeah. Because again, we keep the link building stronger the more we know who's where. Because then it ain't nothing to pull up. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's easy. It's a flight. Because we get to Jamaica, we get to the farm, bro, we fed, we're taken care of. We got a place to sleep. We got our clothes to be taken care of. Like it's really on some wealthy things. Like we don't have to go back and, you know what I'm saying, figure stuff out. Like stuff's just waiting for us to come back to it. It's just waiting for us to come back.
Listen, like I said, I'm very interested in doing that. Like you said, I'm not usually I try to experience things. I'm not usually a filmy type of person, but that's something I would do. I would like follow your dad around, or just be like, I'd be like a real tourist in this joint, just trying to piece
for the family, right?
Yes, trying to just, you know what I'm saying, like, but also trying to enjoy the moment at the same time. Because, like I said, just because my great grandfather had siblings, and you know, we're just trying to figure out like what happened to them. You know what I'm saying? We just have pictures. Right. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's not just single, like, all right, my great great grandfather had a son, and then he just had a son, and then that's just it. It's just like there's others, and we're just trying
it's like,
yeah, it is.
Yes.
And man, listen, we're gonna have to. Matter of fact, we're gonna figure out a way to get your pops on here, and we're gonna dig a little deeper. Probably try to do something over the summertime. I'm not sure what his schedule looks like, because I know he was trying
Let's do it.
I know he was trying.
He gonna be in the farm.
Oh, so he went back, or is he?
He was trying
in Jacksonville.
I believe he goes back today.
Okay.
I think his flight should be landing today.
Okay.
But so Jacksonville is going to be for him where like he wants to have his kind of American establishment, right? It's a hop and a jump from Jamaica. He one of my aunts, my father's sister, lives in Orlando. Like we talked about, we got family in Fort Lauderdale. Price points in Florida are great. There's no tax in Florida. So from Duckworth's perspective, it's a great lily pad back and forth from Jamaica to Fort Lauderdale, well, to Florida. And you can see the LaGrange in the background who just woke up from his nap, right? And like, I ain't gonna say your face and his face look similar, but these jeans are these jeans. What's up, baby boy?
Man. Listen, I don't care what you say. These LaGrange jeans are strong, man, and it's awesome. You know what I'm saying, to keep that thing going, man. I'm gonna figure out, like I said, on this platform I can have up to 8 people, man. We're gonna try to fill as many people as we can and just have a conversation.
I think your schedule, if we align schedules, my advice, my opinion, we align schedules this summer. We take 7 days. Normally when I go back to Jamaica, it's usually a 10-day trip. So that's like, you leave on a Friday, you come back on a Sunday. Okay. So you get the full breadth and depth of it. We go out there, I tell you right now, the Wi-Fi on the farm is popping. Like, we have very, very good Wi-Fi on the farm. We could do this on the front veranda if we wanted to. We could just sit, talk, bring people around. We could do the whole thing, man.
Once we
have some elders come through, because everybody live right there.
Man, you get me excited right now. Like, I'm just ready for the school year to be over.
Do it.
So I can go.
Once the school year start, we gonna be in there.
Oh man, All right, listen, man. I really, really, really appreciate you, cuz, coming on here and blessing us. Before we part, man, please let everybody know where they can find you. Especially, let them know again about your podcast, so they can start following that and all that good stuff, and where they can find you on all your handles.
Absolutely, man. I do a lot of things in a lot of different ways. Easiest way to find me and all the things that I do is through Instagram. My handle is my name, Cortni Grange, CortniGrange. It's probably one of the most unique ways you'll see Cortni ever spelled, so I am easy to find when you put that next to this last name that we just told y'all all about. Come through Instagram, check me out. You'll see the Divine Masculine Activated podcast. Give me 1 second, baby. And everything else that I'm involved in, Divine Masculine Activated goes live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. via Mastermind Connect's social media channels. If you come to my page, you'll find it. It'll be the first thing you see. You can catch me. Let's see, what else? That's pretty much it for right now. Other than that, man, I'm in the dungeon. Like I'm in the lab with everything I'm doing. So like, I'm building some things that I'll be releasing. Okay. Right. Like it's a lot of projects that I have in the work that are kind of forming like Voltron to put together. And Divine Masculine Activated is going to be the platform where a lot of it gets released. So folks, if y'all are out there, follow the Divine Masculine Activated web series on YouTube. Like I said, you can hit me up on Instagram by my name @Cortni Grange. Other than that, man, it was a pleasure coming through, cuz. I appreciate you. I love you.
Love you too, cuz.
Thank you for being diligent to get me on here, because I know I was, I was hard to wrangle down.
Listen, it's all good. Like the great thing about it is,
your diligence.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm booking studio time. I'm at home. So it's just like, whenever, like, just let me know. I'll find, you know what I'm saying? Like, just give me a time and I'll make it happen. You know what I'm saying? But definitely, man, appreciate, man. Make sure y'all go follow him. He's doing some great things. Like I said, the wellness part, everything that he's doing is just awesome. All right. So y'all already know every Monday, myself and the Dr. Tristan Marsh, we do our Mental Health Monday on IG Live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys remember to check that out. As y'all can see, man, we're on YouTube now. Given a Purpose Podcast has its own YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe so every time it drops, just like everything does, my every episode drops on Monday. I let it drop at midnight. So when you wake up, you riding in your car, something you can listen to, man, get your morning going. This great episode will be on there. So if you're stuck in traffic, you can listen to the whole thing and check out, our family lineage and all the great things that are to come. Like I said, so you already know what we're gonna be doing in the future. I'm about to figure out some times so we can, and some flights to make sure we hit Jamaica up real soon.
Let's get it.
You know what I'm saying? So
you done know.
So man, I appreciate you guys listening as always, man. Make sure you guys do what you're supposed to do, man. Reach those goals. Do what you got to do to keep that momentum going. And just like everything I say every week, make sure you live on purpose and make sure you live in purpose. We'll check you guys next week. Peace.
You've been listening to the Giving a Purpose podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or Google Play to get new, fresh weekly episodes. For more, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.